Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Seams. Thanks very much for joining me again for another video. Can you believe I've now been saying that for 2 years? That's right. So this week marks my 2-year anniversary on YouTube. I can't quite believe it. So I thought I'd do a Friday Sews video today. So thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for setting out that hashtag. And I thought I'd combine it with a little roundup of what I've learned over the past 2 years. So I put a little shout out on my community tab on YouTube and also on my Instagram stories about any topics you'd like me to cover, and I got some fabulous responses. So thank you very, very much. And I'm going to cover most if not all of them today. I'm very conscious not to make this video too long. So as always, thank you so much to anybody who's watched any of my previous videos, anybody who's given them a thumbs up, a like, or left a comment. I really do appreciate every single one of you, and I get such wonderful comments, so thank you very, very much. So I've got my little book here so I don't forget anything, because we have a lot of topics to cover today, people. We really do. So first off, I'll start with what I'm wearing, and this is an oldie but a goodie. So we're now in MeMadeMay, and if I pull out this, I've been filling out this, which is available on Zoe So Blog's blog, and you can purchase this. It's a little workbook and you can fill in everything you've been wearing and your thoughts and everything. It's a fabulous workbook. So I'm really enjoying MeMadeMay. So my pledge was to wear something new every single day, so no repeats, and also to do a bit of repairing, and I think I'm doing pretty well on both those counts. So the wearing something new every day has been brilliant for me, because I'm such a creature of habit. If I get into a habit of wearing the same top or same jumper, I can wear for a couple of days, shall we say. But this has been just brilliant in rooting out all the old stuff I have and trying different combinations. So this is a pattern dress from Tilly and the Buttons. Lovely pockets and lovely tabs here on the arms, and I made this in early lockdown 2020, I believe, but I bought the fabric in 2019, and it was actually, I was messaging Anne-Marie today, it was the first time I'd met Anne-Marie from the Crafty Studio. She had a pop-up shop, and this is where I bought it just before I went back to work after my first little boy. So yeah, so this is definitely an oldie but a goodie, and I'd completely forgotten about it. I was scrolling through my Instagram, which is a great way to document all your makes, and I suddenly happened upon this, and so I spent a good 20 minutes last night trying to find it, and I paired it with a Blackwood cardigan. So you'll see that on my Instagram. I've got a story, a highlight of all my MeMadeMay, and I think they pair really well together, and I now want to make more pattern dresses. So yeah, loving MeMadeMay, pushing me out of my comfort zone, trying different things together, and having the no repeats has kind of highlighted what I wear the whole time and what I'm lacking, and things that maybe I do wear, I don't wear, and things that I need to alter, which has been really good. So so yeah, that's what I've been up to. This week I did a little tutorial on my channel, so it's to make this little iPad stand here, so I'll link that below. So that was really good fun to make. Then also I finished off my little boy's pajamas. So they both now have a pair of shark pajamas, which are super cute. This fabric is from Crafty Studio, and one of my final plans for my spring plans, which I've now done, can you believe it, was my husband's Jackson pullover from Helen's Closet. So I finished it maybe last Thursday night, I think, and he's worn it about 4 times since, which I am so delighted about. So lovely fabric from Crafty Studio, kind of a grey ribbonette, and then I just got some cotton jersey from Carlo Fabrics, and I put a label saying "You're a good egg." Yeah, the sainted Mr. French Seams, and he really likes it, and I am so chuffed. So it's been a busy few days. With MeMadeMay, I'm now back in the office 3 days a week, which is a marked difference to MeMadeMay last year. So that's been an added layer to it, but I'm really enjoying it. But more on that shortly. So that was my week. I will now give a little update on maybe how I started sewing. A few of you kind of asked a few of those questions, so I'll just launch straight into it, shall I? So again, thank you to everybody who commented and put up these suggestions. It was really great, and I got some really interesting suggestions, so thank you. So to start off my sewing journey, so I had always known how to sew. My mum taught me how to sew when I was little, but never really did much about it. I think I made myself a Marilyn Monroe fancy dress costume in college. Anyway, so then in 2016 we moved into the house we're in now, and I bought a sewing machine to hem curtains. If you've watched my Vlogmas from last year, I hemmed those curtains last year. But anyway, so then I was kind of thinking about what I'd like to do. Would I like to start an evening class, things like that? And then I got a leaflet through the door about the school just down the road was doing adult sewing classes. So I said, right, I may as well go and give it a go. And that's just where it all kicked off. There was a lovely teacher. She was very, very nice. And the class was maybe 6 weeks long or something. And it was just fabulous. And down the rabbit hole I went, basically. So from there, I think I was introduced to Tilly Patterns at that class. Then after that, I found Zaria, the city seamstress, on Instagram. I went to a few classes with her. She's fabulous, fabulous, and such a nice lady. Hello, Zaria. And then after that, just went into Instagram, found YouTube, and that's basically where it all took off. So really seriously dressmaking, I suppose, from kind of early 2017, I think. So I actually have one of my first pieces here. So early in your sewing journey, it's really good if you start working with Georgette. But I thought I could do it, and I did. So this is one of my very, very early makes. It's the Sew Over It Pussy Bow blouse, and the fabric is actually from Sew Over It as well. So it's a beautiful, I think, little kind of flowers and stuff. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I haven't worn it in a long time, but I was quite pleased to dig it out of the wardrobe earlier. And it has lovely button loops here. I've even added little pearly buttons, so I think I really must give this another wear. So this is one of my very, very early makes, but yeah, at that stage you just don't know, you just launch straight into it, don't you? So loved doing that. Then came YouTube. So my younger French Seams, was born in early 2021. So, and we were in full lockdown, and my older boy was at home with me as well from a bit of my maternity leave because the creches were closed. I was at home, my husband was working, and I had the two smallies at home. So like everybody, there was nowhere to go. It was a bit of an odd time, and I'd always thought about YouTube, and I loved watching all these YouTube channels. I started off in the early days watching people like Lisa Comfort, Amanda from I Sew A Lot were kind of some of my early watches, and I just loved them. And then the more I watched, the more I found, and I was thinking, I think I might like to start something like that as well. So on maternity leave in lockdown, I had a bit of free time in inverted commas. So I mentioned it to my husband, and he said, yeah, go for it. And then I just started from there. So I absolutely loved doing it. The sewing community is just amazing. It's wonderfully supportive. And I have to give a big shout out to Karen from So Little Time, who mentioned me very, very early on. So thank you, Karen. And also to Liz from The Baker That Sews, who mentioned me in one of her vlogs alongside Amelia from Sew Amelia. So how's that for amazing company? And from there, I think my subscribers just built and built. So I have a massive debt of gratitude to those two lovely ladies. So I just loved it as a creative outlet, as somewhere to share my makes, somewhere to kind of document my makes, to get advice from people, and just have kind of an interaction between everybody around the world, basically, because it is a completely global audience, which is incredible. So I just loved doing it. I love being involved in the community, met the most wonderful people. Then that introduced me to, say, local meetups when they were able to happen again, Frocktails, obviously, and now I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers, which is just nuts. So I'm a little bit away from that, but when I do hit that, I think I might do something special as well to mark it and to say thank you to all you lovely people who subscribe and watch my videos. So that's basically how I got here, in a kind of my elevator pitch, shall we call it. So now we'll start on a few questions I got, and they were really, really fun, so thank you. So the one that was mentioned the most was my top 5 makes. So I couldn't narrow it down to 5, so I'm going to show you a few that I really, really like. So starting off with, and this was one of my very early makes as well, and this is the Sew Over It Betty dress. And it's in this beautiful leaf print. It's kind of goldy accents as well, that I got from Minerva years ago. I think it must have been 2017, I think. So before I had an overlocker, everything, but I just love this dress. So it's just the regular scoop neck at the front, V-neck at the back with a little zip and everything, and I just adore this dress. I really, really do. I just absolutely love it, and it keeps reminding me that I need to make more Bettys as well. So this is definitely one of my favourites and one of my early makes that I just love. And I wore it on a little trip as well, when you just have memories of wearing things on certain occasions. Love it. Then other things I love making are shirts, and I do really like the tailoring techniques involved in those and the kind of the more involved makes. So again, this was another lockdown project. I think this was this is the Grain Line Archer shirt. Oh, sorry, the lighting is very bad there. But I just love the techniques in here. So the full placket, the full collar, the cuffs and the sleeve placket, the burrito method and the yoke and everything. So I just love this, and this is beautiful cotton dobby fabric from Crafty Studio. So I've made a few of these, and I've also made Cali shirts and stuff. So I do really enjoy that side of sewing as well. I do make an awful lot of jersey things, but I still do like coming back to these kind of more tailoring and more structured fabrics, shall we say. So then we kind of go into the party dress section. So I am usually quite casual, so when I do make a party dress, it's really, really fun. Oh, the wheel of my chair has gone over it. Oh dear. Oh dear, edit that bit out. So these are my two Frocktails dresses. Oh dear. So this was Belfast Frocktails dress. So this was around this time last year. And this is the most fabulous sequin fabric from Minerva. And it is the Itch to Stitch Antrim dress. And it's got pockets and it's sequined and it's just fabulous. I absolutely adore this dress. I really do. And I've worn it a few times since, and every time I just love it. And then this year's Frocktails dress, which I'm sure you're bored of looking at from now. But this is the Tilly and the Buttons Joni dress from her stretch book. And it's in the most beautiful petrol stretch velvet from Crafty Studio. So I loved making these kind of more kind of fancy style dresses. I really love those. So next up is this that I made maybe autumn time last year, and this is the Heather blazer. So I was so proud of this. I really was. So this is probably one of my proudest makes actually. And this is the Heather blazer. The this kind of tweedy fabric came from my granny, and then the lining came from Crafty Studio, and I just loved making this. I really did, and I was so pleased with how it came out. Fully lined, all the bells and whistles, and I just love it. So I can't wait now for autumn this year because it's such a lovely autumn make. I really enjoy it. Then another of my favourite makes was a little hack I made last summer, and I made this for one of my lovely friends' weddings. And it is in the most stunning fabric from Beyond the Pink Door, and it's got giraffes and zebras and leopards, I think. So this is a hack of the Friday Pattern Company Wilder gown, and Alice from the Polka Dot Palace has done a tutorial on how to hack the Wilder dress into a top with taking off the sleeves. So I loved doing that, and then I added on the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta skirt to make it a dress, and I just love this. I really do. I made a matching hairband, I made a matching bag, the whole 9 yards. So this is probably one of my favourite makes as well, and this fabric is just beautiful. So yes, lovely animal print fabric. Then obviously one of your favourite makes has to be your latest make, surely. And this is my latest make, and it is the Farah dress, and I absolutely love it. So fabric is from Transform Fabrics, and it's got beautiful flounces, and it's got a yoke front and back and lovely mitered corners, and it's just fabulous. So I do love this. So all my favourite makes are kind of on the more kind of special end as opposed to the regular jumpers and t-shirts and stuff that I make all the time, but they're the things I wear. But for these things I think they're really special. So that's a kind of roundup of my favourite makes. So I didn't stick to 5, there was a couple more, but oh, there's one more actually, my favourite make. I almost forgot. My swing togs. So I made these last summer. This is the Tilly and the Buttons Coralie swimsuit that I made last summer, and I just love them, again with the little flounce, and I made the frill on the leg as well, and I couldn't believe I made swing togs. And my husband even said, he looked at them and said, oh, I thought you bought them in a shop, which obviously is the highest compliment ever. So I just love these, and this beautiful fabric is from Fabric Romance. So yes, they are my favourite makes. The next topic was repeated makes or recommended patterns. So there were 3 that I looked at that I've made multiple times. So I think they probably are my favourites, and one of those is the Marlowe cardigan. And here's one of them. I think I've now made 3, and this is beautiful fabric from the Fabric Counter, and this is the cropped version, and yeah, I just love it. So I've now made 3 of these. I made one originally in the long length and then refashioned that because I wasn't really wearing it, And then I've since made 2 more, and I would definitely recommend this pattern. I absolutely love it. It's just so, yeah, it's just great. It comes together so quickly and it looks so great. So I definitely recommend this. Then another recommended pattern I have is the Kilo wrap dress. So I'll pop in a few pictures there. I've now made 3 and I've got plans for another one. So yeah, I've made a lovely one in navy fabric from Beyond the Pink Door, lovely green fabric from Crafty Studio, and stripy fabric again from Crafty Studio. Isn't it amazing how you can remember where you got the fabric, what the pattern is, but I can't remember to take dinner out of the freezer. But anyway, so another favourite, and if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you'll know about this, and it's the Freya top from Tilly & Buttons. So I think I have made at least 6, if not 7 Freyas, and I'll pop them up here in a bit of a rotation. And they're all on my Instagram channel as well, but I've made the turtleneck, I've made cowl necks, I've made my hack as a detachable cowl neck, which is really cool. And I just think it's the best pattern. It's so versatile. You can dress it up, dress it down. It's just the most wonderful basic pattern to have in your wardrobe. And yeah, depending on the fabric you use, it gives such a different look. So I just absolutely love that pattern. I really, really do. So I haven't made one in a while. My Christmas one that I made last year is probably one of my favourites, but I definitely think I'll be going down another Freya rabbit hole towards the end of the year. Watch this space. So the other topic that was mentioned was sewing fails, and this is quite interesting. So I absolutely have had so many sewing fails, and probably a lot of them I probably haven't even shared. One of my the main reason I have fails is that I've chosen the wrong fabric to go with a pattern, and that's obviously just purely my fault, not the fault of the pattern, not the fault of the fabric. And a few of those have been the Sew Over It Emma dress, and I don't have that to show you, I'm afraid, and the True Bias Sutton blouse, and both beautiful patterns, but I think I just chose the wrong fabric. For the Emma dress, I looked like a flight attendant from Aer Lingus, and from the True Bias Sutton, I looked like I was going to an operating theatre. They were just the wrong fabrics, and I probably would like to try them again just in different fabrics, because they were very nice, but there's stuff that you just don't wear and that you look at in the wardrobe and just bypass it. So they've both been repurposed, which is great. The one I did have an absolute fail with was this Tilly & Buttons Romy, almost like the kind of the baby grow or envelope top. I just couldn't get it sitting right on my shoulders, so I repurposed that into a t-shirt for my little boy. And then also my first Marlowe was a bit of a fail, I suppose, but I managed to refashion that into a Marlowe that I do love, which was great. And then also one fail, and this I'm not sure was it to do with the fabric or what, but I think I've realised that some patterns just don't suit me, and which is fine. But so maybe that is like, it's not really a fail as in I couldn't make it or I had trouble constructing it. I think just the pattern just didn't work for me, and that is I hate to say it because everybody loves it, but it's a sagebrush top. I just can't get on with it. I made this and it's beautiful fabric, but it's just the sleeves are too big and it's too ruffly, and it's just not for me. So what I have done, I have made a sagebrush since then, and I've just taken down the sleeves and I've just scaled it down a bit, which works much better. So from an actual fail point of view, I don't think I have anything that I've just completely cast aside. I think I've just made them all and then decided not for me, so I've given them away or I've repurposed the fabric and stuff. But there are some things that you just take off the machine all excited to try on, and you just think, no, it just doesn't fit properly, or the fit isn't right, or the style isn't quite right. But you learn from it and you move on, and you take some elements from that make and you put them into another make, and that's how you build on your experience, I suppose. And the sagebrush actually leads me into another question later on, which I'll share with you as well. But it just, not everything suits everybody, and everybody has their own style and everybody has their own taste, which is absolutely perfect. And that's what makes the sewing community so interesting, and that different people like different styles. I'm sure you watching at home look at some things I've made and say, that's not for me, which is absolutely fine. So anyway, so that was my kind of fails. So yeah, and some makes I have made, I'm sure there's some elements of them that I absolutely failed, like buttonholes or zips aren't perfect, but anyway, but that's another part of it as well, isn't it? So another question which I really liked was favourite vlogs, and so I had to look through, so I think I've done 86, so not sure if that's a good or high or low number, I should say, but 86. And what I really enjoyed doing was Vlogmas. I really did. Vlogmas is a lot of work, like filming every day, editing, but I really enjoy it, and I think it's really, really good fun. And even watching back, say, my Vlogmas from 2021 was really interesting. And yeah, it was just, I just love filming it, and it's kind of a certain time of the year, and it's all kind of magical and all special. And yeah, I just really enjoyed doing that, and kind of looking back at things I was doing about, you know, baking and going to visit Santa Claus. And last year it actually snowed, and it was just a lovely, lovely time. I do really enjoy the chatty ones, so a bit like this, because I can chat and chat and chat. And I do also love the ones where I kind of take you along my day. So say there was one Friday So's I did a while back, and I think I was cleaning the house. But I love those kind of spend a day with me, and watch out for the next few weeks, because I might be doing something similar in the next few weeks, which I'm very excited about. Another one I really liked doing was what I was bringing on my holidays last year, and then what I did actually wear on my holidays. I really enjoyed doing that. So I went, there was one holiday we had a kind of staycation, and then another holiday we went to France, and it was really interesting to see what I brought to stay in Ireland for a summer holiday and what I brought to France, where it was at least 45 degrees. So I really enjoyed doing that one. I will of course link all these below, by the way. And then I just do my standard makes and plans. So I've kind of stepped away from the monthly plans, monthly makes, and I've moved to more seasons, because that kind of gives me a longer span of time, and things pop in and pop out and stuff. And I am enjoying doing more seasonal ones. You'll have seen that I did my spring ones, and I'm going to be filming my summer plans shortly as well. I don't do things like fabric hauls that often, because if you watch my channel, I don't do a fabric stash. So most of my fabric hauls are my plans videos, basically. So yeah, so they're the kind of the categories of things I do. I do a few tutorials, which I do enjoy, but yeah, they were the main ones that I do enjoy filming. The real kind of chatty ones, the vlogmasy ones, like it's sewing with a bit of life as well, which I think is really interesting, because they're the ones that I enjoy watching as well. So another question was to show my first few garments that I planned on the vlog, which is really cool actually, and I've got them right here. So as you can see, my style hasn't really changed in the past 2 years. So at the very start, I was making just jersey things the whole time. It was lockdown. I had a 3-month-old, I had a 2.5-year-old, wasn't really going anywhere. So this is one of the first ones, and I do still love it. And it's this Billy sweatshirt from Tilly and the Buttons in lovely leaf fabric that I got from Maeve's shop when she still had it years ago. And it's just beautiful, so I do still wear that an awful lot. And then another one which I love is the Sew Over It Audrey top in this beautiful Breton fabric with the lovely bow here as well. And Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door has a fabulous tutorial on how to do the neckline really, really well, which I followed for this, and it worked out perfectly. So beautiful French terry kind of Breton-y fabric, which I just love. And there are some of my very, very early makes, and still wear them, still love them, which is great. Another question, and it was phrased beautifully, she called it my Grail makes. So basically, I assume this is ones that I really, really want to make. So I only have a couple, and I would love to make them. So one is the Eden coat from Tilly and the Buttons, and I think I said that 2 years ago that I'd like to make it. I would love to make the duffel coat with a lovely big hood, maybe a plaid lining and the duffel buttons and everything. I would love it. And similar to that, there's the forest coat, which is from Worthy Design Studio, and it's a little child's coat, kind of quilted coat, and has ears and a little hood. It's just beautiful. So those kind of coats I'd love to make. And then of course, jeans. I have such an issue with jeans. I cannot find jeans to fit me in the shop, so I really want to make them. So watch this space. I keep saying that, but watch this space. The next thing was favourite sewing gadget, and I loved this. So I had a little rummage around, and some of the sewing gadgets I love are these little things, and they're little seam gauges for your sewing machine to keep your seam allowance. So I bought this one from Crafty Studio, and I got this in the advent calendar from Beyond the Pink Door last year, and they're magnets, and you just stick them to the plate on your sewing machine, and it helps keep you honest with your seam allowance, which is great. So I do love them. And then I also love bias binding makers. I love these. So I use these a lot for bunting, things like that. And they come in different sizes, and you feed in your strip of fabric here. It comes out this side, and you just iron it, and you've got ready-made bias binding, which is great. And then this one, which I only got recently, and it has been a game changer. It is a basting glue pen. And I got this from Crafty Studio, and you know I love my labels, putting labels into garments, and this has just been a game changer in tacking them on before you sew them. It has just been wonderful, because I sew them on and I end up catching half it and not catching the underside, and it's just terrible. So this has been fabulous. I also have used it for zips, and it's just brilliant. It has just changed everything. It's just wonderful. So I recommend each of you to get one of these. So they're my favourite sewing gadgets. How are we doing on time? Not too bad, I hope. So then the last question, or second to last question, I should say, is any tips I've got on sewing. So throughout all this, I am by no means an expert. I'm really not. So this is just my experience. So I think you just have to enjoy it. It is a hobby after all. Some of us do sewing for work, which is fine, but for me it's absolutely a hobby. It's to decompress from work, from small children, everything. So it's yeah, just enjoy it basically, and you can enjoy the process, and then of course you can enjoy the end result. This is very much do as I say, not as I do, because I've written down here toile, which I so rarely do. By that I mean you don't even need to toile a whole garment, you can just toile a little bit of the construction. So I did that recently on a half zip sweatshirt I did, and also on the Charlie caftan I made last year with the beautiful panel along the waist. And I toiled them, or tested them out on a scrap piece of fabric beforehand, and it made the world of difference. So I think in any new technique, I think it's really important to trial that out. It just makes such a difference, and it makes sewing your real fabric so much more enjoyable, because you know exactly what to do. So again, these are things I aspire to do. I really, really do. So then the last question is thoughts on sharing my sewing journey on YouTube, which is really, really great. So I do have a lot of thoughts on this. I really, really enjoy sharing everything with you guys, and I hope you enjoy watching. I really, really do, and I hope it's content you like and content you enjoy. I've made so many friends from all around the world. I think sewing is one of those unique hobbies where it crosses countries, it crosses genders, it crosses ages. Just if you enjoy sewing, you can literally just chat to anybody around the world at any age or any situation, and they'll have had similar experiences. Either they're making clothes themselves, for their partners, for their parents, for their children, for their grandchildren. I think it's really, really great, and it's just been the most wonderful community, and the most wonderful supportive community. And I have got some wonderful comments on the vlog. I really, really have. I've been very lucky, to be fair. I've only had, I'd say, not even a handful of not nice comments, which is part and parcel of putting myself out there on YouTube. I do understand that, but I think I've been very lucky in that the comments I have got that haven't been so nice have been fine. You know, that they take a bit out of you, but then you just move on. There's been nothing devastating, which I'm very, very lucky about. And I do appreciate everybody who comments, and I'm very conscious to get back personally to everybody who does comment on my vlog. If you take the time to watch my vlog and to comment, I'm really keen to respond to you, and thank you for that. Having a sewing blog keeps me accountable, as I mentioned earlier with my curtains. So when I mentioned that I was going to hem those curtains on my Vlogmas, I got a few messages saying, have you hemmed the curtains yet? And that really gave me the push to finish it. So I do enjoy keep myself accountable. I love planning. So as you can tell, I have everything in my little book. I have a spreadsheet on my Google Documents on my phone. I have everything linked up. I cross things off when they're done. I have everything listed, all my plans, all my makes, has the fabric being washed, has a pattern being cut out, all that kind of stuff. I just love, you know, the process of it and the documentation of it and the structure of it. I really, really enjoy that. And I think having a vlog, it's as well kind of cemented that, because I can map out my plans, map out my makes. Have I done this? Tick, tick. Have I shown this? Tick, tick. So yeah, it appeals to my type A personality. I'm aware of that. It tracks my progress, so I can go look back and see what I made in the early days and see if I'm still wearing Breton stripes, and I still very much am. I've learned that you can't please everybody, which is fine. So, you know, I watch vlogs and some things aren't to my taste, which is fine, and then other things are. And I think that's with sewing as well. Things can appeal to people and things don't appeal to people, which is fine. And I hope that in my vlog I show things that can appeal to lots of people. So I show a little bit of garment sewing. I've got into kind of accessory sewing and sewing for the house as well. So, but I have learned that you can't please everybody, and that's absolutely fine. I've really enjoyed doing collaborations. So that's been a wonderful part of being on YouTube. So I did the most fabulous collaboration from Claire from Stitch Hem. So we both made the Charlie Kaftan late last summer, which I just loved doing and getting the chance to talk to Claire properly. She's such a nice lady, and we had a great time doing that. And I'll pop in a picture of my Charlie Kaftan, which I love, and I cannot wait for the weather to warm up to wear that again this year. So that was a really great collaboration. I did one with Atelier Jupe, which was lovely. So I was contacted to have their fabric and one of their patterns last summer. So it was the Charlie Kaftan, and I got offered that through Beyond the Pink Door. So thank you, Andrea. And that was a wonderful collaboration to have with that sewing community. They have the most beautiful patterns and they have the most beautiful fabric. And I was incredibly lucky to be involved in that. So thoughts on sharing my journey is that I have said yes to some collaborations. I've also said no to some collaborations. So there's been a few people that have approached me. There's been a few businesses that have approached me. And sometimes I say yes and sometimes I've just had to say no. Time constraints, fabric constraints, things like that. So I have learned to kind of say no to some things that I cannot do at all. So I work full time. I have 2 small children. This is my hobby. I want it to be enjoyable. I don't want to be put under pressure, but when the right collaboration comes across to me, I do jump at the opportunity. And I would love to say yes to everything, but sometimes you just have to say no. And I think for your own self, it shouldn't be too stressful. So I have learned that it's a hobby, it's not too stressful. And following on from that, to not make things just to share. So I think I probably have fallen into that trap once or twice, that I've made things that, you know, might seem popular or that I should like and that I don't really. So I'm very conscious now to make things that I will absolutely wear, that I will absolutely love, and it's not just going to be something to share. So that's quite tricky as well, because you can be sucked into some things. But I think I've learned that slightly along the way as well. I have learned that editing takes an awfully long time. So this video is probably going to be about 20-30 minutes. The editing will take hours. It does take a long time to gather all the pictures, to put everything on my computer, which is cripplingly slow these days. I'm not quite sure why. So the editing does take a long time. And I think you might have seen recently that I'm showing things and showing the pattern on paper instead of having to bring in the picture, as a little shortcut for myself, shall we say. But yeah, the editing. So what I do basically is I film it on my phone. I put it on my computer, which is right here, and then I use iMovie on my Mac to edit it, and then I upload it up to YouTube. So all that does take time, but I do enjoy it, and I taught myself iMovie in the early days, which is really great learning experience for me, I suppose. So, but that's just how I do it. And yeah, the editing does take a long time, and then you watch it and you have to put in text and you realize you've said the wrong thing, or you know, you've rolled over one of your dresses, so you have to edit out that bit, the usual. So to sum up on that, I have really enjoyed this sewing journey. It's been 2 years. I hope there's many more. And if anybody out there is thinking about starting a channel, I would encourage it. There's room for everybody, as Elf says. There's room for everybody on the nice list. So I would encourage you to start a YouTube channel. There's something for everybody. It's just a wonderful community, a wonderful supportive community. And yeah, so they're my thoughts on sharing my journey on YouTube. And I hope you do enjoy that. There is, as I say, something for everybody. So I think I might wrap up. I hope I haven't kept you too long. I'm just having a look to see if I've covered everything. So as I say, I've done my recent tutorial. I'm going to film my spring makes shortly, because I've done all those. I think I made 18 things in the past few months, which is nuts. Small and large things, I should say. And then I've also got fabulous plans for summer. And then that's about it. So there were that was a very rambly vlog. I apologise. Usually I'm a bit more structured, but I hope you did enjoy it. I hope I answered everybody's questions to your satisfaction. If I missed any questions, or if you've suddenly thought of a question that you'd like to ask, please feel free to do so in the comments below. There's been a lot of kind of Q&A videos out there, which I love watching, so I may do one of those shortly. Let me know what you think. I'm approaching 5,000 subscribers, so I might do a 5,000 Q&A. I think that'd be quite good fun. But if you do have anything else you'd like me to cover, please do let me know. So I think I shall wrap it up there. As always, thank you so much for being here, for sharing in my sewing journey, for listening to my chit chat, for my chatty vlogs, my rambles. If you would like to leave me a comment, I'd love to hear from you in the box below. Please do. If you'd like to give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you would like to consider subscribing, so that means that you get access to my community tab. And if you are a subscriber, if you'd like to hit the bell icon, that means that you'll be notified whenever I release a vlog. So I think I shall leave it there. I hope you all have a lovely evening. It's, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock on Thursday night, which means I'm going to go downstairs and watch Taskmaster, because that is one of my favourite programmes. And so I'll hopefully get this edited at some stage tonight or tomorrow night and get it up to you very soon in time for Friday sews. So as always, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you're all well, and I will see you again very soon for another vlog. Bye.